Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Carrie Justick. Today, I'll be sitting down with breakout actress Barbie Ferreira, who stars as a virgin turned cam girl in HBO's latest teen drama, Euphoria. The new series, which follows a group of high schoolers as they navigate sex, drugs, and love, is said to be breaking boundaries with the complex narratives of each of its characters. And Ferreira's portrayal of this unapologetic fat girl is no exception. Let's take a look.
Hey,
Hi.
look at you still doing the Grapefruit Diet.
Yep, I literally want to die.
Yeah, it's only bad for the first 2 weeks. Then your stomach shrinks, and you adjust, and you are reborn.
Oh, wow, can't wait. How much?
That'll be $3.25.
Yo, can you please maybe hurry the fuck up?
Could I pay the rest tomorrow?
Oh, I'm sorry, baby. There's a policy.
Oh, hey, Kat, I got you.
Oh, hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Sweet.
How are you?
I'm good. Hey, Erica. How much was it?
$3.25.
Oh, don't worry, I have like 125 here.
Do you, for grapefruit, do you want something else to eat?
Oh, no.
No, because if you don't have enough money on you right now, I
I'm
can
good,
I can get you like some actual food or.
She's doing the Grapefruit Diet. It's not easy. Don't tempt her.
Okay. Cool.
Barbie Ferreira, everybody.
Hello. Hi.
It's Kat in the flesh.
It's true, and a very
It's true.
different look.
Yeah, very different look. I just want to ask, because we just played that clip, what the F is the Grapefruit Diet?
Oh my God, it's like literally the oldest diet in the world where you just eat grapefruits and you lose weight. Wow, a concept.
Wow.
A concept.
So you
Just don't
starve
eat.
yourself. Yeah,
just don't
eat. So I want to start off with, I mean, you have been in the spotlight in some capacity for a while. You've had some cameos in shows, and you were previously a model, had a huge following on social media. I'm sure people have been following you for a long time, but this is like your breakout role. How did this all come about for you?
I mean, first of all, that sentence, it's just like, it doesn't hit. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone every day and I haven't stepped out of it yet. I mean, this is like my dream in life. This is really what I wanted to do. I'm a performer. I'm an only child. I like attention for being an only child, you know? So it's just like something I really just, I felt so distant, like, oh, these are my dreams, but like, it's not gonna happen. And having that kind of sort of validation of that is just incredible. I don't even know what to say. It's just been insane. I've been smiling all day, every day.
And I feel like people who know you and have been following you feel like Kat's kind of the perfect character for you. When you were reading this and getting to know who Kat is, like, did you feel that way? Did you feel similar to her?
I felt clocked. I was like, okay, I'm reading the sides, which is like, one scene, and I'm like, even the way she talks is very similar to me. I'm like, this is crazy. Someone's in my brain. And I was just like, it was the thing. I was felt so closely to this character that during the audition process, my anxiety was mounting, like with every time I went in, because I was like, I just feel like a connection with her. And I mean, even down to like the One Direction fangirl, like, hello.
Died over that.
Hello, me.
And the fact that Louis responded to it was unreal.
There was like just that day, I like invited my friend who is also a One Direction fan, and we like to say we're former One Direction fans. It's lies. We still listen to them. And we just like were gagging that day. It was really an interesting, weird, again, Twilight Zone moment.
Yeah, you're like, this is it. I made it.
Louis Tomlinson saw something, and I was in it, I guess.
That's so awesome. And obviously, like, speaking about your platform and your career prior to this, you've always been about body positivity, and you've always preached like self-love, self-confidence. Kat is about those same things, and I find it so like interesting and even lucky that you found a character that aligns so closely to you and to your platform. Was that a coincidence, or was that something that you helped to kind of like develop her character?
Well, I think a lot of the process of us building our characters, thankfully Sam Levinson, who created and wrote the show, is so open for conversation. Like when we all got the role, he called us for like hours just asking about our life, and like literally someone that we barely met, we was like, all our life trauma and our like life experiences, we tell him, and he's just such a empathic man in that way where he listens and he really absorbs it and doesn't like nothing just like goes over him. It's like every little bit of us he observes and he builds a character to us, which was incredible. We had like so much say, and even down to the way we were dressing or like maybe that line, I don't know if that's right, or like just the conversation was always open. So I'm so happy that he's just was there and like a mentor, and yeah, he's great.
I mean, even before when you were saying you felt clocked, it's funny because I feel like those conversations you probably had with him however long ago, and then you're going back and reading your lines and you're like, oh shit, like I think I mentioned something like this, or he really pulled this from me, and you probably didn't even realize until you're like acting these things out. Does it make it easier that you feel so connected with Kat, or is it kind of difficult that there's like a blurred line sometimes between who you are and who Kat is?
Well, at the beginning, it was almost hard to find her character because I didn't want it to be super close to me, like in her personality and the way that she talks and just like the small things, but like the motivations behind everything were definitely something that we share. And it was a little bit difficult. We like went through like a few phases. We like, trying on wigs, trying on all this crazy like outfits and stuff. And I just like was like, I want to be like Thora Birch from Ghost World. And that's like a character that I would watch and like resonate with, and I feel like Kat like would obviously do that as well. So it was like in a way it was difficult just because when things are so close to home, and especially in high school where like nobody is trying to do that, no one's trying to go back into those kind of problems and that mentality, because I mean for a lot of us it's not usually the best part of our lives, and for me it definitely wasn't. So kind of unpacking what it means to like go back to that high school mentality and like go home with it as a 22-year-old woman and be like, I forgot that this happened, and I kind of blocked it out, and like my confidence facade that like that I'm like, is it true? Like, what am I thinking? Like, is this like my real feeling? It was complicated, but in a way almost like therapy as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was thinking about that honestly earlier because I feel like Kat is like so empowered and so confident, and she obviously has her moments, and like you said, there's a bit of a facade there, but in terms of like her evoking all of this confidence, is that something that you kind of then took and internalized? Like seeing Kat walk around and be this badass, do you then like walk off set and you're like, oh shit, like I'm learning something from her?
Absolutely. I mean, the challenge for me was that since I started modeling, I had to be really tough. Like none of my insecurities cannot get in the way of my job, my bag, whatever it is. So I didn't really notice that it's really I keep things really internal, like things that like still hurt me, and whatnot. So that was a realization moment. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, this show holds like nothing back, so you definitely can't help but to be super vulnerable. And especially for Kat, like we said, she explores her sexuality in a really interesting way when she becomes a cam girl. One, I saw something hysterical on your Instagram stories where you were talking about how you had to hide in a different room when all of your friends were watching the show. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I just think that one scene, the last episode, was very intimate, and to watch yourself, like, the other cat sex scenes, I never really felt uncomfortable watching with people. I mean, I do a little yelp, I'm like, every time, and then my heart starts racing, but I can like sit through it. But that one was just, it was so intimate, and Kat and Ethan have such a connection in that way, and it just felt too like real. So I hid in my closet and I just waited for someone to scream, come back. And I was like, okay, cool.
I mean, Kat and Ethan, I love that you already brought that up because that relationship is like, I'm screaming at my TV. I am so pissed at you right now. Like,
so is the world.
Yeah.
The world is pissed. I'm like,
I can imagine you watching it like, fuck you, Kat. And it's you.
Yeah. And the thing is that I really understand where it's coming from, and I think a lot of people are too. It's just like, Kat is extremely flawed. That's like, the point isn't she's like, all of a sudden one day she wakes up, she wears latex and she's perfect. It's like her insecurities are manifesting in different ways. And like, she's just peeling back the layers of like what she actually is insecure about, and like, and being like taking up space in a room, and how does she balance like having this incredible control over men like consensually, and how does she trust people in her school who like have always been really rude to her and like have broken her trust, like leaking some sort of like leaking like the sex tape on Pornhub. It's like her trust is broken, and it's hard to imagine that someone won't do that when it just happens often. So I think she's kind of like, she's living through that, and her actions are rude sometimes. but it's okay. I see where it's coming. I'm like, oh my God, literally, like we all mess up something because of our own zhush, you know? So
Yeah, no, when I'm watching it, I try to be really understanding. Because, I mean, come on, like you're in a high school party, this cute guy is like, flirting with you, and you're like, me? Like, what are you talking about? Fuck off. But also the cam girl stuff, like we said before, I mean, it's something I've never seen, and especially in this type of show where it's like this teenager in her bedroom exploring with these different things. And I just think you're also so funny while doing it. Like Kat is like literally sitting there like in her costume, like laying on her back, just chilling, and these like old gross dudes are like having the time of their lives. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that part of her story. And obviously like the stigma around sex workers, because I think, like I said, this is something new for me to watch. So knowing that was going to be a part of her story, like how did you even approach that?
Well, I approached it in a way where, there's no, I never had any judgment for sex work, just in the way that, because it's the oldest profession. It is something that's always going to happen, and it's people taking control of their bodies and doing what they want, which is honestly the whole problem is people policing people's choices, which I'm all against. And I approached it in a way where, I've interviewed dominatrixes and whatnot for like my little Vice series I had, and I've explored it so often with like friends and whatnot, and balancing it with like, she is finding this like just different world where she's a sexual being to people, and in a way where when you're in that kind of state and you're in high school and no one sees you that way, it's the most just like the most magical like power, like you can feel like you are a sexual being, and the fact that men want to pay her to laugh at them, that she's smart. Like I'm gonna say something, she is so smart, and maybe the way she goes about things isn't necessarily like people like are like clutching their pearls, but it's reality. Who hasn't been on Omegle and chat roulette? Like we all explore
Chat roulette. Oh,
we all explore sex on the internet, and like we've reading fan fictions, watching porn. We've never done that, right? Like, no. So the internet is like this like anonymous space in a sense where she can wear like this mask and
literally
a mask, and she can be this like she can like tap into this like visceral kind of like need for that kind of sexual connection, because she's not getting that in school, and she cannot trust anybody in the school. I mean, have you seen the men on Euphoria?
I say all the time they scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, have you seen the men on Euphoria?
It's terrifying. Latex. I mean, first of all, Kat's like whole transformation, like her stepping into that mall, throwing on her latex is like my favorite thing ever. And obviously you have your one line. I wrote it down so I can say the whole thing.
And I quote,
I've been afraid my whole life that people were going to find out I was fat. But honestly, who gives a shit? There's nothing more powerful than a fat girl who doesn't give a fuck.
That's on God.
That line, my friends and I, we walked into work on Monday, and I'm not kidding. We were like, yes, Kat, are you kidding? Like, preach. When you read that and when you acted it out and when you're like, what did that feel like? And yeah, like, what do those words mean to you and as Barbie and to Kat?
When I read that, I loved it in like every way. I love the choice of using a fat girl, because that's really what people were saying about Kat, like body shaming, everything like that, and like taking that back and just that realization that like it really doesn't matter, and it really like your external self, you put so much energy into hating it, into trying to change it, into looking at magazines and TV and movies that those people don't even look like that, like most of the time they're like prepping to know those things just like they add up. So it was just. Yeah, I'm like, I love that line.
It's a moment.
It's a moment, and it's really just like how I feel and how I like really try to live my life is really not giving a fuck in a way that like in a very true, deep sense where looks aren't the primary like energy sucker in your life. It shouldn't be, and it takes up a lot of space in your brain and in your life, and it's not that serious. And that's how I felt for so long. So I just loved it. I loved it.
I loved it.
Mwah, chef's kiss.
Well, going off that same thing, it's like her whole transformation is something that we haven't seen for a fat girl on television. Like all the time you see her go through this thing where she suddenly is like going to kind of please all of the regular beauty standards, you know, like she wants to lose weight, she's going to the gym, she's wearing something that's maybe not, well, either not accentuating her at all or accentuating her where she thinks it's like in the right places and giving her the curves that she should have. And Kat's like throwing on latex, which, I mean, no fat girl wants to put on latex, you would think, and she's fucking rocking it.
Oh, and I wore latex in my own personal life the other day. No, it's incredible. I just think that the thing that I love so much about Kat is that it's just so reflective of what people want to see. I don't think anyone wants to see a one-dimensional character that's the fat best friend, she fell on a banana peel, wah, like everything is so funny, you know, or, you know, she's like this tragic girl who like can't seem to find it until she like loses weight, you know, and the best part is that like Kat being fat like really does like influence a lot of it, but her storyline isn't centered around it. It's centered around her like sexual like awakening and her like journey to like rebuild trust with other people, like primarily men, and it's not focused on like, oh, like, ugh. I think we just had enough of that like tragic storyline. I think there's so many people out there who are obviously bigger than a size 4, which was what we see most of the time, and not everyone's just like moping around about it. And of course, there's times where you do, but that's not the full story. It's human problems. It's everyday problems. It's finding validation in places that don't even necessarily have to be about looks. So I think that her being a flawed character is my favorite part. I just love that Kat she's not centered around anyone's storyline like a lot of fat best friends may be. Like she's not like at the mercy of everyone else. It's her own life, her own storyline. She's a bitch sometimes, and that just happens. I don't know.
That's just it. How have people responded to Kat?
I think, you know, I do read the live tweets a lot when it's happening. So, and I literally look
That's
for
intense.
but it's fun because it's all like memes and like people coming for me, but I understand why.
So much fun,
I know,
like
it's,
haters.
so much fun. But you know, I just think that the reaction to Kat has been pretty much what I really hoped for, which was people are like, oh, like you can be an attractive person, you can dress well, and you can be big on television, which I don't think that like anyone like allows that. Like a lot of the auditions I get, it's like, you know, or like breakdowns I get, it's like insecure about her body, you know, big bodied, or you know, all these things that are just like that's not her full identity, you know. And I just really love Euphoria for it because it's what I wanted to see when I was going to movies, and I would like look and it's like there's no way anyone would ever hire me unless I fit into these standards. Just doesn't. I don't see it. It doesn't seem like a reality, and everyone seems to think that being fat is really bad. So I'm like, of course, then I must think that that's it. So just like slowly seeing things like that. I mean, hopefully quickly, but we don't want to.
Well, even you just saying like you didn't really see bigger girls on TV and stuff. What's the process like behind the scenes in terms of like costume design? Because I'm sure on a lot of sets, people are used to having the size 0 to 4 available to them. So how have they made sure that like that's a non-issue?
Well, Heidi is an incredible costumer. Oh my God, she's amazing. And I wore a lot of my own personal stuff. We all did. You know, it's just, I know the brands, she knows the brands. We just collaborated a lot. You know, we talked. It is very tricky to style someone who isn't a sample size in this industry, like in general, in fashion and anything, because people make things that are size 2 and 4, and if you're lucky, it goes up to an 8. I'm 14. That's not my size. So, but she also just knows. Like, I used to work with her on Target, and like we know each other from modeling for Target, and she was like the stylist there, and she knows that. She's just incredible, and I would send her ideas. I'd make mood boards. We love a mood board on Euphoria. And
Euphoria is one giant mood board.
We all individually mood boarded everything.
It's crazy. I mean, the looks are insane. Obviously wardrobe, but like hair and makeup is so much fun too. And people really also saw that come through with the Halloween episode, which was just a whole
I
other
love
thing.
those. Bob Ross. Oh, Maud. Maud kept doing this thing where she was just like, with a little like look, and I just couldn't get over it. I really couldn't.
I can't imagine how much fun you guys have together, but it also doesn't go without saying that the show is really, really intense. So you guys seem like you're one big happy family, but like shit's fucked up on the show. So in terms of some of like the darker scenes, how do you prepare for those, and how do you end up like walking away from them?
Well, it's really hard to walk away from really dark scenes, especially when your character is extremely close to you and it's not coming out of thin air. It's like a real life, issue that you're currently dealing with again. But we just all really, I know this sounds so corny and like I'm saying it, but we all just love each other. And like, sometimes we need a moment alone and I'll be a little bitchy and I'm like, I stopped crying and I'm gonna go and like go to the trailer for like 2 hours and I'll come back and I'll be a normal person again. But we just all respect each other's boundaries. We all know that any given day with the production schedule, everything, someone's gonna have a day, that's like a little bit harder than usual. And it just, we always respect each other, and everyone's so sensitive and great in this cast.
I mean, I would be staying far away from Jacob Elordi, who plays Nate, because
I love Jacob, though.
it
He's
is like
so
no
sweet.
secret. I'm really, really scared of him.
He is so sweet, like
No,
truly.
I really don't believe
I know.
you.
No, believe me? No, I'm so serious.
No,
Jacob,
I mean,
so
I
sweet. He's
honestly
like a teddy
probably
bear.
after like every episode of Euphoria, I have to go back and watch the kissing booth because it's like the only way that I'm like, oh, he's like
to
nice,
reset,
he's
yeah.
nice. Yeah. What do you hope for Kat for the future? I mean, this season and next.
I am reluctant to say that I wish for something for her, because I think that at that age, making mistakes, especially mistakes like hers, you learn lessons that you take throughout your whole life. So I just hope that, I mean, I'm not like hoping that like she just stops like doing this and like being insecure and like sleeping with random men. Like, that's not the reality, I just hope that, maybe give Ethan a chance. Why not?
Please, I'm begging you. We're going to head over to some audience questions, and we have a tweet. Michelle Parker says, Kat has some of the best outfits on Euphoria. Did you have part in that, and where do you like to shop?
Yes. My Jean Paul Gaultier like little shirt that I wore, that was mine. My glasses that I wear are mine.
Oh my God, yes, I love them.
They're my real glasses. They're like so real that they're like broken as heck. 'Cause I'm like, these are my.
You see some like tape on them?
Oh, they're like this. I shop. I love vintage shopping. I love Depop. I love the real. I love eBay. I love so many things. All I do is online shop. I don't like going in person shopping. I don't like to see it. I just do not want to go in a fitting room. Yeah, just online shopping.
Which I love, because I feel like for myself sometimes it's like, oh, how is that gonna fit me and blah blah blah.
I just take the chance.
Love it. And then we have some questions in the audience. Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi, Barbie.
Hi.
What was your initial reaction to Kat, and how long did it take you to understand her?
My initial reaction to Kat was actually like, did someone literally rip off my life and like put it in a script? Because when you see things that are just eerily close, like the timing, like 16, the like, again, I will mention One Direction 1,000 times because that is the craziest thing I've ever seen, because it's so true. And her like online life, everything. I took a moment to understand Kat in the way where I had to dial back a lot of like the things that I put up to, like, let's say like my confidence or the way that I carry myself, even in my posture, because I'm so used to doing it to like, get into a room and like be the boss that I want to be, that I had to go back to like being 16 and being insecure about everything that I say and like how I look and how I move and how like, and it's not hard because it's right there. It's right underneath, it's just those memories. It was so long for me that it's something that I can just like tap into now after really like, after like a couple months, it was just like there.
That's awesome. And another?
Hi. So building off of that and also going back to audience reactions, a lot of your fans as of the last month or so, are people who are similar to Kat, who like find solace in their internet personas and who are still exploring their sexuality and their body positivity and all of that kind of stuff. Have you had any like specific experiences so far, like seeing how Kat has touched other people?
I think that's a really nice question. Thank you. I lurk the internet, so I see everything, and it brings me to tears. It really is. People doing like her makeup looks or like, wanting to get outfits like that. I've gotten a few messages where people have been like, I just didn't think I could wear things like that. And I'm like, sis, yes, join the club. I was like, join the club. It's fun. I love to jiggle around all the time. Like it's funny, but it's also just like, it really does make me like really just emotional because I know that I was that girl like not too long ago. I was just searching to like find like the reasoning to be myself and like just be like validated in that because I just think I just thought like, oh my God, everyone's gonna look at me and like they're gonna find out that I'm a fat person if I don't wear like my jeans in a certain way. And it's not far from what I am now. Like it's just building like the confidence slowly. But yeah, I thank you.
Does that come with pressure?
Yeah. And I think letting go of that pressure, I do not reflect how everyone looks. I was a model, which, is not necessarily how people look. And even in the plus size industry, it was hard because I was on the thinner side and I wasn't reflecting what plus size women look like when they want to buy things. And so I just, I'm a person, happen to be bigger, cool, just out here acting now.
You're doing your thing.
Now.
Yeah. Out here running shit for the past month. And another question over there.
Hi, I'm a huge Captain Swan fan, and I'm a Captain Swan fanfic writer, and you nailed it during an episode. So, did Jen or anyone told you what to do for the fan fiction scene in your episode?
Jen is also Logan Morrison. I love when people like really just like are into the fan fiction because I feel that like when I read it, I was like, oh my God, this is like the Larry Townsend, I knew exactly what I was doing in the fan fiction moments. I did not need anyone because I was. That's me for many years, so still to this day.
So if you want to know Barbie, just look on television because she's Kat. And then we have one more audience question.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, actually, my question was shown on the board. It was a tweet, but I have another one. So a bunch of young girls look up to your character, and I was just wondering if you had any advice for them. Like,
also, you look so cute.
Thank
Your
you.
outfit is so cute. Advice, I think follow people that make you feel good. Buy books that make you feel good. You don't have to have the negativity that the media like kind of shoves down your throat all the time. And that was a reality to me. I was following these people on like Instagram, like Tumblr, and they were just like always comparing myself to them. I was like, it's nothing personal. I don't even know these people. I would rather not, and curating people that I really like so many people that, are inspiring because they're just honest on the internet and they show themselves in a light that's so real. And that's what I like now. But at first it was like weeding that out. And I think that's really important. It's just weeding out the negative stuff.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Barbie.
Thank you.
We could talk for hours, but
thank you.
I mean, since we can, everybody check out Euphoria on HBO on Sunday nights.